Today, guys, we got a very special edition of SmackDown in France. The crowd went crazy. Bloodline going crazy. We still don't know who the tribal chief is, as Randy Orton asked that to Paul Heyman, and he didn't know what to say. So here I am with my boys Carol and Kenny Baum, and we're about to talk about what can this mean? Why is Paul Heyman trying to convince Randy Orton and Kevin Owens to stay out of this match? What could possibly be happening at Backlash? Kiro, give me your thoughts, sir. What do you think?
Well, normally I thought it was nothing really when he first went backstage and he was trying to convince Nick Aldis and saying stuff like that. I thought it was just being the usual Paul Heyman, being talking stuff up, making everything a bigger threat than they are actually. But then he went ahead and went into the ring and he repeated the same point way too many times for me to think that at Backlash we're just gonna see an straight match, empty match, especially because we only have 5 matches, so these 5 matches needs to hit. And I love the crowd here, the European crowd. I think the crowd we're gonna get in Germany and Scotland, and usually the crowd we get in England. It's great because they're so hungry for wrestling that the reactions they give are absolutely amazing. But besides that, with 5 matches, they gotta carry their weight. They gotta actually be good in quality, and so I feel like I said this in my predictions too. I feel like Jacob Fatu is coming here. I mean, I don't know who is he gonna side with. Is he gonna be a face or a heel? But I feel like something big is going to happen here. And with Paul Heyman saying, "Get out of this match. This is really dangerous for you." I mean, again, he talks a lot of BS, tries to confuse their opponent. But I feel like there's something legit here, and I think Jacob Fatu is gonna come, and he's gonna ruin somebody's day. It could be Kevin Owens, could be Randy Orton. So he goes away for a month or two and comes back and actually has a huge fit with the Bloodline. I'm not sure. But yeah, Paul Heyman's scaring me right now because he's not a man of empty words, even though he likes to bloat them. So I feel like they're setting something up. Maybe not for Backlash. I'm not too sure about that, but definitely for the future.
Yeah,
I think there's got to be
definitely
something
agree.
that happens, though. I mean, it's got to be something that happens at Backlash because it just so happens on the show before Backlash, he's saying, "Listen, pull them out of this match." He has to
Yeah.
know something. And you said the fact that Jacob Fatu might show up. I think it's a big possibility now. Previously, I was thinking Jacob Fatu was going to debut on Raw and kind of side with Jey Uso, but you guys talked me into it. I think he is going to join this new bloodline on SmackDown. And what better way for it to happen than a pay-per-view with a wild, rabid crowd like this France
Oh
crowd
yeah.
we have here? So I think it would be beautiful, and I think the bloodlines, because they still need work. They still need to prove themselves. What's the guy's name who came from Japan?
Tamatanga.
Tama Tonga.
Yep.
He's new to WWE, and the WWE fans really don't know him. That's why I don't know his name right now. I'm not a New Japan guy, so I think he needs to come in there and cement himself as a bad dude. He needs to go in there and beat Randy Orton down. I'm talking about to the point where he's bleeding in the ring. We know Kevin Owens is going to take the pinfall, so why not beat Randy Orton and leave him laying outside? I think that would give these bloodline guys it'll give them a sense of seriousness because Roman Reigns took a while for us to earn his respect. And Solo Sikoa right now, honestly, he just doesn't have mine. So I think they're going to have to cook and they're going to have to do something big for the bloodline to walk out here looking like the boss dogs they are supposed to be. So we'll see. Brian, what do you think we're going to get?
Oh man, I think tomorrow's gonna be crazy, bro. I think they've established them with using blood and stuff like that with Kevin Owens a couple weeks ago. So I think that blood will be somewhat in the match tomorrow again. I think Tamatonga, he's gonna look extremely strong tomorrow, in my opinion. And I think that I do have to agree with you guys. I think that we are going to get that big Jacob Fatu debut that we've been waiting for. He's been held back. I think right now with this crowd and the time that we're at right now, probably the best idea to go on ahead and get him in there, get him in the mix, see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow because Paul Heyman saying, "Hey, I'm asking you guys, please get pulled from the match." And then he went ahead and also called Kevin Owens till 4 in the morning on Wednesday night. So I'm assuming he's really trying to get him up out of there. So I don't know, man. I think tomorrow's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he said, he hasn't talked to Roman Reigns ever since WrestleMania as well. So what the hell does
Yeah.
that mean? I mean, I don't expect we're gonna see a huge return like a Roman Reigns or The Rock. And is this gonna be like the crowning moment for Solo Sikoa to be really the, I guess, the tribal chief? Is that what's gonna go down here? And to do that, he needs a defining moment. And what better way to brutalize two beloved people right now in Kevin Owens and Randy Orton? So like, I don't know. I am expecting the biggest story development in this specific match when it comes to Backlash, because again, it's the only match with the story. And Kenny, I agree with your earlier point of them, debuting Jacob Fatu here, because I mean, you have to face it. Like, we still talk about Chris Jericho's debut, right? Their first impression is everything. And so, like, normally when we think about it, Backlash is a pay-per-view after WrestleMania. They are usually just throwaway pay-per-views. And honestly, the whole build-up for most of the pay-per-view, it's been throwaway too. The last two matches, for example, announced like that in a millisecond. They didn't even have any build-up. But this last SmackDown, just because of the crowd alone, I think WWE might, take this opportunity. Like you said, it would make all the difference, and they would give us some big moments here, at least for the Bloodline, which they've been giving on SmackDown as well. And so why not do it in a Backlash too, in a bigger stage, in comparison to SmackDown? So, everything else we can doubt, every other storyline, but I think we're going to see something hopefully satisfactory. I can't call it big. I can't call it small as far as, how influential or how crazy this moment will be. But I think it's going to be Jacob Fatu. I'm locking it in. I think Jacob Fatu is going to show up at Backlash.
I think it needs to be big, though. I think it has to be something big here. And like you said, it has to be Jacob Fatu, because this story needs to keep moving forward. We've had, Tama Tonga do his thing running through these guys over the last few weeks. We can't go back into SmackDown after Backlash just in the same place with just these two and Paul Heyman. If you're building the bloodline here, you got to keep that story going and keep it hot, because people will get disinterested. Me personally, I won't be interested if they just drag it out as long as they can until Roman Reigns is ready to come back. So I do feel like they need to keep this thing going, add that new element at Backlash, and then people will be excited to come see what happens next on SmackDown, because that's the most important thing. You got to keep people's attention. But before we get up out of here, I need the final word from you fellas. Kiddo, I need your final prediction. Who wins this match, and does Jacob Fatu debut?
Oh, man. I think Tama Tonga, being the debutant, as we say in France, he's going to have to win this one. Like, imagine losing your first match. That'd be kind of tough. So the Bloodline takes it, and Jacob Fatu, like I said, I'm locked in, man. He's going to appear with the hoodie.
All right. Brave prediction from Kiddo saying the Bloodline's going to win this thing. Brian, do you agree with Kiddo? Does the Bloodline take this win, and does Jacob Fatu debut?
I think the Bloodline definitely takes this win. I think Jacob Fatu definitely returns as well, or makes his debut. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it's happening. I think tomorrow's going to be very eventful. Remember, they got 5 matches. You really got to make this one count, as I think this is probably one of the most anticipated matches on the card.
Yep, that's the biggest thing with this Backlash pay-per-view. Quality over quantity. So with this little bit of matches in France, you got to deliver. So I think they are going to do something big here as well. I think Jacob Fatu debuts. Does Justin Fatu debut? We're going to have to take a look and see.